You're listening to Elegbete TV and Radio. You are listening to Elegbete TV Radio. All right, good morning and welcome to slightly later Behind Shadows version of Legbete TV Radio's Sports Buffet. Yes, my name is Idafe Matthews. I'm going to love to come with the Legbete One Sports. It's a lovely morning we have, but we were having some issues with our internet. I don't know what happened. Well, subscribe, but just refusing to connect. The weather is good, but hey, this is the digital age. These things happen. You have glitches, and you have to deal with it. But the most important thing is we're back up, and Man City. Uh, Everything about Man City revolves around money, and it gives you a good vibe. You know what it means to have money and then spend it properly and use it very well, because they're planning to up their stadium up to 61,000 capacity. As much as people talk about the plenty of money spent on players, you would always look back to Roman Abramovich era at Chelsea and say, okay, for all of the 19 years of spending big money, billions of money in buying players, winning the league, winning Champions League, the Carabao Cup, the FA Cup, one thing that didn't change under Roman Abramovich was the facility, the infrastructure, the stadium itself. But for Man City, they've performed above all expectation. They've improved the Etihad Stadium, but they're still going to improve it again. And then they have the best training facility in the world currently, even better than the La Masia and the Real Madrid Casillas. But not just that, the fact that they're planning a 300 million pounds investment at the Etihad so that they can raise it up to 61,000 capacity, just like Tottenham Hotspur, does sound very, very beautiful and attractive to the ear. Having said that, though, we're approaching the weekend. One thing that is on the lips of everybody is the season-ending run of games. I mean, Liverpool plays go to Etihad, the same Etihad, to play against Manchester City. The expectations are very high. Yes, Liverpool are they going to do the Robin Hood like they did to Manchester United, beating Manchester United 6-0, and then the following week got burnt in their mouth by Bournemouth 1-0? Is that what's going to happen? Are they going to stop Man City in their track? Arsenal fans would give anything, and I mean it, anything and everything to make sure Liverpool wins this game. Even if Liverpool doesn't win, at least Liverpool gets a draw. It would be sweet and beautiful to the ears and eyes of any Arsenal fan coming this weekend, because it will be the best thing that they would ever wish for. You know why? A City loss right now would make a whole lot of sense. It means that even if Arsenal go to the Etihad and lose, it just might not affect their run into the season if they can afford to win every other game that they play. Well, there's also the Arsenal visit to Anfield, and you know that Arsenal doesn't go to the Anfield and do well. So that's also part of the conversation anyway. But whatever happened, it is happening. And as we run up to the end of the season, I'm trying to figure out, who do you think will miss out? So Napoli is on top of the pile in Italy, look done and dusted. Paris Saint-Germain is on top of the pile in France, look almost done and not dusted anyway. In Germany, from leading Borussia Dortmund by 10 points in November before going to the World Cup, they now lead them by 1 point. And it does look like Borussia Dortmund are on the march to seize what has been missing for the past 10, 11 years, okay? Bayern Munich have won the league title for 10 years. But then it shows you again how hungry, determined, and mean they are, that they've won the league for 10 years, and then all of a sudden the point gap reduced to 1 point, and then they fire their coach. It tells you that these people are different. Remember that just a few days, 5 days before Julian Nagelsmann was fired, remember someone in the directorate at the very, very high ups came out and said, no, he's got his job for the next 5 years. His job is safe for him. I mean, he's got this contract that keep him at the job till 2026. But guess what? That didn't change anything. When it was time to fire him, they didn't think about that contract. They didn't think about anything. They just felt, man, this man has got to go because the standard at Bayern is so high. We don't care. If we don't win the league, we don't win Champions League, we are a failure. And that's exactly why they keep kicking out. But then they gave a contract to Thomas Tuchel. There is also the possibility that somewhere in the mix of all of this, maybe Julian Nagelsmann will still come back to Bayern again. Bayern have always done that, bring back coaches that they've let go. So there's a possibility that that might happen. You never can tell. But then you can add your own thought to the conversation. This morning, a little bit of birthday business. Today is Colin Udo's birthday. One of the best and fantastic writers, sports reporters, for journalists that this country has produced. Right now he's in the US working with ESPN, but is one that we're always, always, always proud of. Special better shout out to Colin Udo, wherever he is. Have a blast of a day. I mean, it's in the US, so obviously might be sleeping by the time he wakes up. Guys, give him a very good shout out because he's a good ambassador of this country, represents us very well. That's it. Let's get back to the business of talking sports. Transfer window will soon be open. Some clubs are already piling up their list. So I'm going to give you guys an assignment here while you tell me who's going to pick it up in all of the top 5 leagues in Europe. In Spain, looks done and dusted for Barcelona in a season considered to be one of the bad seasons, one of the worst seasons of Barcelona. You know, they have the devil in all crisis, bribing of referee. They might get banned. They might not even be able to sign players in the next transfer window. Well, that's not a problem for now because on the field, they seem to be doing the business and doing it well. But they might not be scoring 20 goals per game or 5 or 6 or 7 goals. They've been winning games and they are almost setting or close to setting that same record that Jose Mourinho said of the least amount of goals considered, meaning that Javi must have done something right. Okay, may not have it all going outside of the field by the books, paperwork that's on the board, and especially on the previous board, but it does feel to me that somewhere in all of this crisis and all of this madness, someone have done something good enough to make sure that FC Barcelona are not easy to score against. Well, you can't say that of what happened in the Champions League, neither can you say that of what happened in the Europa, but in the La Liga, definitely you can say that. And they've kept their distance between them and Real Madrid. So it does look like over there in Spain, it's almost done and dusted. In Italy, it's almost done and dusted. But then there are 3 leagues where it is not sure yet. In France, Paris Saint-Germain cannot beat their chest and say they can go to sleep and take a foot off the pedal because it might change. In Germany as well, Bayern Munich cannot go to sleep and take their foot off the pedal. In England, as much as Arsenal have 8 points ahead of Manchester City, and Man City have got a game in hand, and somehow Man City plays a very difficult, one of the most difficult opposition this weekend in Liverpool, you still cannot say Arsenal are champions. But let me ask you guys this. This weekend comes and go by Monday morning. Let's say Arsenal win their game this weekend and Liverpool goes to Etihad. Not expecting it, but it is not impossible. Liverpool goes to Etihad and wins. Okay? Whatever the scoreline is, they win. Would you say that the title is won and lost in England after that moment? Bearing in mind that Arsenal still got a game to play against against Man City and against Liverpool. That's 6 points that are not guaranteed of the remaining 30 points. 6 points that are not guaranteed. But would you say the title is won and lost if Arsenal, if Liverpool goes to Anfield and go to Etihad and beat Man City, and then in funny twist, Arsenal wins their game, because what that means is Arsenal would have gone 11 points clear. So subtract 6 points, which is the game against Liverpool and the game against Man City. They will still have a 5-point gap. And then, I'm just taking it for granted that apart from those 2 games, Arsenal is going to win every other game that they play. What do you think? That's what I want to know. What's your take on that one? Whether you're on Instagram, whether you are on YouTube or listening on the mobile application, you can join in on the conversation whichever way you want to join in and let us feel your pulse. But it would be nice to have you on Instagram or on YouTube, especially so that your contribution can be captured at the end of the day. Yeah, so we're still talking about what's going to go down this weekend in the different league. Seems like Osima definitely will be celebrating league winning experience. And I remember the last interview I had with him in Abuja. He was like, he's never won a league title before, and to be very nice to win a league title. We're talking about winning a league title. I'm talking about the Eagles camp. Alex Iwobi flew back to the UK, and he was on a podcast, and this is what he had to say about the state of the pitch. Probably the reason, before you guys go ahead blaming him and the rest of the team, maybe we should listen to their side of the story and see there is some truth, maybe, perhaps there's some truth in what he's got to say.
But like, yeah, for example, like our pitch, we don't know if we're gonna have a nice pitch when we play. Like, obviously, we got a new coach now, and we played Sierra Leone, but we just about beat them 2-1. Difficult game. Then we played Sao Tome and beat them 10-0, but we played on a great pitch. A lot of us play in Europe now, so like we're playing on great pitches where it's easy to just manipulate the ball, let the ball do the work, play freely. If we had that in Nigeria, I feel like it would be difficult to beat us. I don't think I'm confident enough to say that not many teams can beat us. So like to start with, just for example, like having a good pitch. If you have that, I feel like we'd be unstoppable.
So when you say that, do you mean like as in a home stadium or like I said,
I don't even.
yeah,
just a pitch of grass.
So you're not even asking for much. Just
a pitch of grass, level grass, no crops. Like get me, just grass in it.
Because when Leon came and he was saying that we need like something like a St George's Park where there's like a complex.
At least we could. But that's the thing about Nigeria. Like I don't know what goes on behind, but we could end up playing in Asaba. You could play in Lagos. You could play in Abuja. You could play anywhere. We don't know. But like at the same time, I do get where they come from. Everyone wants to watch Nigeria, and Nigeria's quite a big nation. So, but at the same time, it would be nice to have one base where we know this is going to be where we're playing. We know how it's going to be patterned. We know how it's going to be organized. Know the hotel we're staying at. Know the food we're getting. We know the service. So everything's easy. But we just are going to. I don't know where I'm going to play. Sort of thing.
Electric TV radio, redefining broadcasting. Listen.
Well, I know that most of you, some of you have seen that already on Instagram, and just thought I should bring it up on the show. And I remember some time ago when the stadium was being renovated, is it renovated by Dangote? And I saw pictures and videos. It was Daniel Dabola Mokachi that put out pictures and videos of the stadium being regrassed. And why I got very, very sick was the fact that it was Daniel Amokachi. And I remember saying that Daniel Amokachi, this was my tweet, my response to his post. And I said, Daniel Amokachi, you should be ashamed of yourself because of trying to please the politicians you're playing to the gallery. In all your years in Europe, did you ever play in a pitch that they are planting the grass like they are planting corns? Because this is not how they plant football. They don't plant football grasses. They lay it, okay? And people came at me. What do I know? Always sounding like I know it more than everybody. If Dan Amokachi says the pitch is good, who the hell am I to say the pitch is not good? But I know. I mean, these things don't take rocket science. I don't need to play and win Champions League to know that. See, they don't. It's like trying to fry egg the sunny side, right? And you're whisking it. You're going to end up creating scrambled eggs. That's the sunny side. If somebody asks you for sunny side, you know that you just put the pan on, put a little bit of oil on the pan, heat it up to certain degrees, and you break the egg in a particular way. It's cooking science. It's food science, right? You break it in a particular way so it spreads, but then the egg yolk is in the middle, and the egg white is on the lid under, and then the egg yolk is a little bit elevated above it, and you know you get it heated. You don't have to even turn it. You just get it heated to a certain degree at certain temperature, and then within a given period of time, and you take it out. That's sunny side. Then if you want scrambled egg, okay, you are not allowed to whisk it together. Get it to mix the egg yolk and the egg white to mix, and then eventually you push forward. But when I said that I like the fact that the Abuja Stadium is being renovated and all that, but I do not agree with the way they were planting the grasses because they were hand plant. Listen, when you go abroad and you see how they lay grasses, first off, they plant the grass somewhere else, and then they come and lay it. They take the dimension of the field and they lay it well because you want the ball to move at an even pace. They also understand that it is that evenness that makes it easy for a player who wants to whip a cross off the ground or hit a shot. You don't expect the ball to bounce and then give you a different direction. But hey, nobody listened to me. People said, "Hey, that shut up. What do you know?" And the way they lay, they first of all put the underground, the sand, and hit it and put it properly and put an underlay on it, and then they put that layer and make everything just go smoothly. But hey, in Nigeria, it's different. And I'm sure now that Alex Iwobi have said it, maybe we will take it serious and look at it. I don't know if we will because I was in Abuja and this team trained in darkness, leading to the match. So when we got there, I'm not going to say here that okay, that's enough reason for the players not to play well. Oh, like somebody said to me that, but then Rashidi Yakini. You see, the thing is, the times are different. When I started broadcasting in 2004, the equipment we were using, the requirement we need to go to the airport, sleep overnight to get a report. You go on your own, you take a bike from wherever you are to the airport. You struggle for it. People don't do that anymore. People go to Instagram, people go to Twitter DM and reach out to players, and then they get their interview. Even that you can extract interviews from other people, like we just did from other people's podcasts, and you use it on your show. It's nobody cares anymore, right? So the times have changed because them Rashidi Yakini played in bumpy pitches and they won Burkina Faso 7-1 or beat South Africa 4-0 does not mean today's generation will have to play like that. Because if you go back to David Pleat and DC and the old Manchester United players, they wore jerseys that were big like parachutes. They played in bad surfaces, but it doesn't mean that now you not say, "Oh, Marcus Rashford, you must play on that type of field." After all, your predecessors play like that. Life is supposed to get better, not get worse. But hey, people will say all the things that they want to say. I think that, like I've always insisted, that Nigeria does not have a footballing culture. And when I say this, you get people pissed off, you get people riled up, you get people worked up, people get angry. And after why would you be saying that? What sort of nonsense is that? No, it's not nonsense. It's just the reality. We've got to be able to understand that we don't have a football culture. Yesterday in the night show, I said something maybe people didn't, get to realize, but the budget for sports in Nigeria, the national budget for sports in Nigeria, 97% of that budget goes to NYSC. It is 3% that goes into sports. That includes football, boxing, wrestling, and everything. The other day, I was on a show in Port Harcourt and I asked a very pertinent and fundamental question that nobody wants to answer. Nigeria Wrestling Federation is handled by a man called Daniel Igali since forever. And the reason why nobody's opposing him, trying to come up with new ideas is apart from the fact that he's Canadian trained, he's Olympic medalist and all that, and he's good at what he does. All of the facilities that we use to train our wrestlers are in his property, are his own personal properties. So if you vote him out, automatically our wrestlers do not have a facility anymore, and nobody's saying anything. But the day is going to come when that's going to happen. We blame all the young coaches. We didn't qualify for the Olympics now because we were beaten by Guinea Conakry, and it automatically means that the coaches are not good. I'm not saying that the coaches are excellent, but what if you did not give the coach the tools to make them successful? Right? What if I bring you to become a presenter in this studio, but there's no microphone and the console is not working, and then there's no internet? Would you be able to perform at your very best? The answer is no. So sometimes we look at some of these things and we must talk about it. But then again, we also misplace the accusation. I've seen a lot of people go on and say things like, the pitch is not good, is the fault of the NFF. The truth of the matter is that's not how it works. The NFF is not a fault. It's your sports ministry. The Abuja National Stadium is a property of the federal government being managed by the Ministry of Youth and Sports. And so it's under the purview of the sports minister. So if you want to call anybody out, this is not me holding brief for Ibrahim Gusso, the NFF president, or the NFF as a body. But again, if the people don't know the right person to blame, you just make the culprits escape without taking responsibility for what they have done. And that's something that we must always learn and understand, so that we don't put blame on the wrong person. Sometimes we blame players for the things that we should blame a coach for. Sometimes we blame coaches for the things that we should blame players for. And then sometimes we blame coaches and players for things that we should blame the NFF for. Or sometimes we blame the NFF for things that we should blame the ministry for. So, as people too who follow the game, who love the game, who want to say our team did very well, we should also know the person whose door, which table, which office we need to put the responsibility for certain things that goes out. There's no light in the stadium, has nothing to do with the NFF. It's 100% the ministry. The ministry, the sports ministry did not instruct the stadium manager. It will not work. The NFF cannot instruct the stadium manager. You know why? The stadium manager does not work for the NFF. It works for the sports ministry. And you know, the loggerhead, the disunity between those two bodies means that whatever the sports minister wants, it's what the stadium manager would do. So these are some of the things that we need to take cognizance of as we discuss it. Well, let's go to some of the transfer rumors that are speculating already, because as much as we're winding up to the end of the season, the big talk about players movement. One of the major movement that is on the ground, it's not beginning to heat up. I said it some weeks ago that Mbappe to Real Madrid does look like a possibility. And once that happens, so there are two things that's going to happen in the transfer window. If Mbappe to Real Madrid happens pretty early in the transfer window, let's say the season ends in May, and by June, Mbappe has signed for Real Madrid, or July, then August would see a merry-go-round of many decisions, because it does mean that Paris Saint-Germain would need a player. It could be Rashford, it could be Osimhen, it could be anybody. It also means that the Osimhen movement would now require a lot of mathematics, because also, so let's put some permutation and you can add your voice to this. Let's say Mbappe goes to Real Madrid. Harry Kane goes to Manchester United. Where does Osimhen go? Osimhen might not be able to go to Manchester United anymore, but then there's Chelsea, then there's Paris Saint-Germain, and there's slightest chance there's Arsenal. Also, there could also be Tottenham Hotspur, and then there could also be Liverpool. So all of these are a major transfer talk that would happen. Osimhen will be a very big conversation in the transfer window come the month of June, July into August. That's one. Another transfer talk that will be very big is Jude Bellingham. The 19-year-old Jude Bellingham is wanted by Manchester City, Real Madrid. I also hear Barcelona in that conversation, but that's just a joke. And then I also hear Bayern Munich as well. But that does look like a joke right now, because they have Thomas Tuchel, who thinks that the player he needs is Mason Mount. And he's got a contract in 2025. So he should be able to say, this is what I want, this is what I need to get my job done. Because if you're employing me and firing Julian Nagelsmann, at least give me the tools that I need to do the job. So that's another side of the conversation. My question to you, where do you stand? How would the transfer merry-go-round go? The biggest talk on the Arsenal transfer table is the fact that Declan Rice is coming to Arsenal. Now, I ask you this question. This time last year, the biggest talk was that Arsenal was going to sign Yuri Telemans. I came in on the show, and I remember saying on the Sports Buffet, I do not see Arsenal signing called Yuri Telemans, because it doesn't make any financial sense. Player that have clearly stated that he's not going to renew his contract with Leicester, it's going to wind his contract down, and then you go and throw big money to sign him. What is the use of throwing that big money to sign him when you can wait to the end of the window? And people said, no, I was sick. But look at how Arsenal have gone with their transfer. They've gotten Jorginho in. They've gotten Trossard, Leandro Trossard in. The team is balanced. The team is still on top of the table. Yeah, they've been knocked out from every other competition, like the UEFA Europa Cup, the FA Cup, the Carabao Cup. They didn't progress in those competitions. But it looks like they will win the league. And they end up winning the league after 19 years of not winning it. It will be a great success for them. But then who comes in? Because one more season, Thomas Partey will be weaker. Jorginho might be weaker. They need reinforcement. Do you think that Declan Rice is the player that Arsenal midfield will need? Granit Xhaka also, yes, automatic 1-year extension have been activated. But what do you think? I need to, read what your thoughts are on that one. But let's look at all the rumors that is going on. West Ham midfielder Declan Rice, 24, is Arsenal's top target this summer. That's the word that I'm afraid of. Once they use the word top target, Arsenal most likely don't get him. Rafinha was Arsenal's top target, they didn't get him. Mikhailo Modric was Arsenal's top target, they didn't get him. Now again, Declan Rice is their top target. They might not get him, but I mean, there are people who can hijack. But maybe Arsenal is just using that one to divert attention and they go get somebody else. Because if you look at Leandro Trossard now compared to Mikhailo Modric, every Arsenal fan would agree that Arsenal dodged the bomb, not the bullet, dodged the bomb. And look at what they paid for Leandro Trossard. He's added value in terms of assists and scoring goals and adding movement and the pace to the Arsenal attack compared to the one we now call the TikTok and Instagram footballer, Mikhailo Modric. But whatever he is, we cannot argue against his talent, just the fact that he's not clicked at Chelsea. But then the question you ask yourself, who is clicking at Chelsea? Everybody doesn't seem to be clicking at Chelsea. Maybe it's the coach, maybe it's the player, maybe it's the club. I don't know. What's that midfielder Declan Rice 24 is Arsenal's top target this summer, and there are growing confidence they can beat competition from Chelsea, Manchester City, and Manchester United to sign the England international. How does Arsenal beat Man City to a player? Let's be very honest. And how does Arsenal beat Chelsea to a player? Unless Chelsea is not playing in the Champions League, which definitely is going to be the case. Even if Chelsea win all their remaining 10 games or 11 games or whatever number of games that is remaining, it seems like they're not going to make it because the other teams ahead of them will not just automatically begin to lose every single game that they have. So that's their destiny of making the top four is not in their hand. But who do you think will get Declan Rice when push comes to shove? Looking at the names that are going for the player, Chelsea, Manchester City, Man United versus Arsenal. Who do you think gets the nod to sign the player Declan Rice? Real Madrid have made Borussia Dortmund, England midfielder Jude Bellingham 19 their priority signing. However, the Spanish giant also are interested in Chelsea's 23-year-old England defender Reece James. Where do you think this move is going to end? Chelsea fans, do you want to see Reece James, one of your best player, one of your better prospect in this season that has been very very bad? Do you see him going? Don't forget he also have injury issues. The last player that Real Madrid bought from Chelsea, it didn't go down well. He went on and become a fat boy. I'm talking about Eden Hazard, and he's still a liability to them till now. Are they going to go to Chelsea again and splash the cash, or is just paper talk that would never amount to anything? Manchester United are monitoring Eintracht Frankfurt France forward Randal Kolo Muani, one player that I think that Arsenal should go and sign. And they are also monitoring Atlanta's 20-year-old Denmark striker Rasmus Hojlund in the case they are priced out of the move for Tottenham and England frontman Harry Kane 29. In other words, Osimhen to Manchester United is beginning to end in the cooler. They are no longer really going to be able to push for that one. United could miss out on signing Austria midfielder Marcel Sabitzer permanently after the loan deal, as new Bayern Munich manager Thomas Tuchel may decide to keep the 29-year-old. Stories are changing. With the new coach in the team, the conversation is different. German Julian Nagelsmann, 35, and 51-year-old Argentine Mauricio Pochettino are open to succeeding Italian Antonio Conte at Tottenham. However, both managers will wait to see if Real Madrid job becomes available in the summer, meaning that Tottenham Hotspur is a second choice for these two managers. Tottenham Hotspur is not a priority anymore to them. So whatever happens when eventually Tottenham Hotspur unveil either of these two, because Real Madrid is definitely not going to sign the two of them. When Real Madrid unveil either of these two, they would just be unveiling a coach who picked them because they couldn't get Real Madrid. That's exactly what this means. But let's see how it goes. Former Spain boss Luis Enrique, 52, says he would like to manage in the Premier League with a team that is able to do important things. And Tottenham Hotspur is not one of them. When he was asked, would he love to go to Tottenham Hotspur, he said, nah, Nehi Kaba, I'm not going there. Quoting my brother Parara of the Mock News, he said, nah. That club is shit. I can't go to a club that is full of shit. A club that does not understand what they want. They don't know what they want. Their only ambition is to finish on top of Arsenal. And every time Arsenal find form, they are just rubbish. I can't go and coach that club, but I want to coach a club that wants to do something. Maybe if Man City are going to let Pep Guardiola go before they bring Vincent Company, I might just go there and go and win the treble like I did with Barcelona after Pep Guardiola left. Okay, but definitely not Tottenham Hotspur. Maybe Arsenal, if Arsenal lose Arteta to Real Madrid, I might also decide to coach Arsenal. Or maybe Man United, but right now they have Eric Ten Hag. They are not going to lose him. If it is Liverpool, maybe I'll go there if they are willing to spend money and buy the players that I need. But definitely not Tottenham Hotspur. That's the way Luis Enrique put it. I'm sorry, Spurs fans. Oh, sorry. Oh God, I'm feeling it. Yes, Cincinnati Lima say, please, Reece James should remain at Chelsea and play what? Conference League or Carabao Cup. Carabao Cup, can't play Carabao, Edika Cup, Soup Cup. Uh, there's no Champions League for them next season though. One season is a very long one, and there's no guarantee that Chelsea will make it to the Champions League next season. You know, that's why Arsenal at start. Hey, they got knocked out of the Champions League once. And everybody said, oh, no, it's just one season, just one season. Next season we'll be back. Okay, then two. Then they brought in Aubameyang. So, with Aubameyang, the way he's scoring, Arsenal will be back in the top four. Oh, nearly they end in fifth. Nearly they end in seventh. Nearly seventh again. Then again eighth. Then again eighth. Then again fifth. Now they are just about. They have not officially qualified for the Champions League. So don't be thinking that. Chelsea will be back overnight. Man City have money. Arsenal are willing to invest more and improve on this squad. So think about it. Man United are also there. So those are top three first. And then Newcastle is now, ready to. They've tested the water. They've checked and balanced it. They've seen it and they said to themselves, taste and see and know that the Lord is good. They now know that the Lord of the top four is good. They might just decide this is where we want to stay. We're not leaving. So Chelsea, please tell me, where would you come in to making the top four? Now I know some few Chelsea fans have told me, next season we might not even be playing in Europe, so we would focus and concentrate on the league. And then the other teams that are in the top four, they will be playing in European competition. They might not even be focused. Okay, let's hear. Man City are playing in the top, are playing in the Champions League. Oh. They are now in the quarterfinals. They are still focused, though. Okay, so I don't know the one you say. The time that Man City went all the way to the finals of the Champions League, they were still focused. But Chelsea, uh, your bargaining power will not be that strong. Okay, but let's look at what German midfielder Ike Gundogan, who is 32 years, he said he's ready to leave Man City and join Barcelona on a free transfer at the end of the season. Say Barcelona that are not allowed to register player. You really want to mess with your career. Barcelona will press ahead with a deal for Gundogan after reaching a verbal agreement to sign Athletic Bilbao Spain centre back Inigo Martinez, 31. Now, Barcelona is going to look like Bolton Wanderers next season. They're going to have a lot of old pensioner, and most of their deals will be free agent, just the same way Sam Allardyce Bolton Wanderers used to be back in the day. But will they be able to come together? Is that really what Javi, as a coach, as a young coach, want to have in his team? Have a lot of pensioner, old men, his age mates, and some that are almost older than him if you check their real football age, and then have them to play in that Barcelona team. Is that what we're looking for? Where's Adele Kingsley? Where you need him? Come and defend your roots. Come and defend your ancestors and tell us what you think. Well, Fash Akin underscore Daniel DSB said, who is Liverpool signing, please? I've not seen Liverpool on the list. Who is Liverpool again? Which one be that? Is that a football club or that's a musical group? I don't know, Sha, but let's see how it goes. Newcastle wants to sign Denmark centre back Andres Christensen from Barcelona. Yes, a man didn't make it in Chelsea. It doesn't mean that he cannot make it at Newcastle. Let's see how it goes. Well, after all, Zobo and Guiza did not make it at Fulham. Look at it now. He's in the quarterfinals of the UEFA Champions League. He's going to be an Italian champion in the next 2 or 3 games. And he might also go all the way to the finals of the UEFA Champions League. Fulham are still there. Well, Fulham are struggling to make the top 4 or probably play in the UEFA Europa Cup next season. Barcelona will face competition from Arsenal and Chelsea to sign Atletico Paranense's 18-year-old Brazil forward Victor Roque. Well, I don't get excited with all these 18-year-old because it takes a lot of time for them to get into the groove. So let's wait and see who gets a signature and who does well. But then again, some young players have come from Brazil like Rodrigo, Vinicius Junior, Martinelli, and they've turned out to be so good. So you never can discount a Brazilian player. Don't write off a Brazilian player because you don't know when you're signing the next Neymar or the next Ronaldinho. But one of the things that I would say, and I said this to my Brazilian friend that I met in 2014, that this 16-year-old that Brazil are letting go to Europe is the reason why Brazil will not win the World Cup again. Because by the time they get to Europe, they get accustomed to that European style. And when they come back to their Brazilian team, they don't know how to play the Jogo Bonito that well anymore. They don't know how to play the Samba that well anymore. And then when they face some of the strongest of European teams who are masters of the European style and they want to play European style confused in the Brazilian Samba, they eventually get beaten. That's how Germany beats them at home 7-1. That's how Croatia knocked them out of the last World Cup. That's how it was Belgium in 2018 that knocked them out. If you notice, all of those teams know how to play the European style well better, whether it's Germany, Belgium, or Croatia. I just hope that they get it right and everything goes that well. Having said that, let's go forward. Whatever it is, I wish them the very best of luck. Manchester City and Paris Saint-Germain have made opening bid for Ajax 16-year-old Croatian defender Luka Vluskovic. This player has been in demand since he was 13. I hope that finally one club gets to sign him and we'll get to see the best of what he is really made of. Spanish goalkeeper David De Gea, 32, has turned down Manchester United first offer of a new contract. Okay, that Manchester United should do everything and anything to keep him because there are no really top-rated goalkeeper in the market right now. Before they will go and sign Francis Uzoho, because as bad as the pitch is, I don't think that is the reason why Uzoho is as bad as he is. So if you go and sign him and say, oh, the grass in match in Old Trafford is good and the Premier League is good, they just might be conceding 5 goals per game. So do whatever you can to keep David De Gea. Goalkeeper, not the market again, or how the goalkeeper with the market. They did somehow, they get score right now. England forward Marcus Rashford, 25, as the Smith report, he wants a new deal worth £500,000 a week to stay at Manchester United as complete nonsense. Now, this is what I've got to say about that conversation. When your agent come out and tell the world that 1 year ago, Paris Saint-Germain offered you £400,000 in the middle of you negotiating for a contract, what are you actually saying? Are you not saying give me 400 or something above 400 before I can stay? So if you can come out and say it's nonsense, but that's what your agent said, and you're going to go and look your agent and say to yourself, hey, why did you go out and put that kind of statement? Because now you're not putting me in a place where it seems like I'm demanding for too much. How many goals have you scored to be demanding for that money? I don't know, but hey, this is modern day football. That money, I don't know where football clubs get their money from, so I can't even question them. But let's say I go, maybe it's the APC delegates that is giving them money because those people spend dollars like dollars are going out of fashion. Or probably it's Wiki that is giving them money. But let's just follow up and see. United are planning to step up contract talks with Rashford before Shika Svaratskela is set to sign a new 5-year deal to stay at Napoli. I do not think, this is me, I do not think that that deal is to keep him at Napoli, but that deal is to give Aurelio De Laurenti a strong arm to be able to negotiate. You know, when they signed him, it was a gamble that let's just give him this short-term contract. If he doesn't do, I mean, how many good players come out of Georgia? You don't see too many good players come out of Georgia. So there were no really strong, good faith, good hope to say this guy is going to do well. So they decided, let's give him this small contract. But right now, based on the performance that he's put up, and the goals that he has created, 10 assists so far this season, plus the wonderful goals that he scored, is properly they're thinking, you know what, let's renew this contract before somebody comes and sweep him off his feet and his agent is whisking him away and we don't make good money from him. If we want to sell this guy, we know we should be looking at 100 million plus. And if anybody is not bringing that money, we are better solidify his contract because every one season that goes by, the money goes down. I mean, before now, they talk about what's the man called Harry Kane was 150 million. Right now, nobody's going to buy Harry Kane for 100 million because another year I've gone by and the price, the value have come down because the number of years that he has to offer now is reducing. You know, that's the way football is. Brighton want to sign Japan midfielder Ryo Hatete, okay, 25 from Celtic, and add value. These Asian guys are coming, they're doing well. They're becoming very powerful. Recently, Brazil and China just signed a deal to do their transaction with their own currency. So if China want to buy biodiesel, for instance, from Brazil, they're not going to pay in dollars anymore. They'll pay in reals. And if Brazil wants to buy technology from China, they're not going to pay in dollars. They're going to pay in Chinese yuan. The world is moving like that. This is how it should be. It should be no one superpower that is dominating everybody and forcing everybody to do things that they want to do. Very soon, the dollar will be like the naira. At this rate, too, if everybody find the heart to do this type of thing that China and Brazil are doing, very soon the dollar it go be like the naira. Una go know say all this talk of one power, good government, na lie. Now other people government, other people country money. Now America think they do what they do. Well, it's not my business anyway. Not like I have any issue with them, but I just thought I should bring that up. Okay, very soon now you now hear that players are now being signed for naira. Oh, transfer fee are being paid for naira. Nobody's going to pay in dollars anymore. Well, there's euro anyway. Euro will always be involved in the conversation. Well, the Seagulls, Brighton as they are called, are set to offer Republic of Ireland striker. Excuse me, guys. Ivan Ferguson 18 a new contract amid interest from Premier League club side, and they don't want to let him go. He does look like a future, and they want to give him a good contract. Even if they have to sell, they would have to collect good money for it. I think these guys have learned the act of doing the business and doing it well. The father of 20-year-old spent forward Ansu Fati wants his son to leave Barcelona due to a lack of minutes this season. I will say to the dad that, Oga, your Pekin, anywhere where you go, it will be exposed as a fraud. I hate to use that word, but I don't think that Ansu Fati is all that. All that praises, all that noise about him is just unnecessary hype that Bartomo Group did so that some sponsors will come and put some money that they've discovered in next Messi. Messi is not something you discover. Okay, it's not something you just go and dig one small grave and then you discover Messi. No, it's not something you just use ball to stamp one pregnant woman and she give birth to a child and you say that's the next Messi. Messi is one that comes once in a lifetime. After Messi, it's going to take a whole long time. Before we discover Messi after Maradona, remember, we have a lot of people come and go. Ariel Ortega, one Roman Riquelme, a lot of people, Hernan Crespo, this one, that one, Claudio Canija. After Hernan Crespo, there's another one that was also in that mix, not Batistuta, one other player that was also in that mix that was close to it. But all of them, Roku Santa Cruz, all of these guys, before Messi showed up. So I don't think anybody is going to say as a fat run like Fifi Rat, like Pansicadia. They say it's the next Messi. So these football people, they don't have respect to. But let's just leave it like that. Manchester City are to invest 300 million in redeveloping Etihad Stadium, including increasing the capacity of the stadium to about 61,000, which is my opening story today. So I need to go back to you guys now and see. Oof, it's comment everywhere. Okay, let's see what you guys have said. Let me take it today. Normally, I take my stories from Instagram. Yes, Ariel Ortega was the name I was trying to remember. Okay. Deolara, what you say? We are here again. Good morning to you. We are here again. Father, we are here again. Holy Ghost, come and take. Who writes that song? Who invented that song? And why was that song always sung in morning devotion? And then why do we have to say good morning, Jesus, good morning, Lord? The Holy Spirit sit on the throne. What was that? What was that? What was that? Eh? Javier Saviola with a rabbit teeth. Okay, that's another one. But at the end of the day, we finally got Messi. Okay, the language say my bias though. I want Napoli, PSG, Arsenal, Dortmund, and Barcelona for the league title. Okay, let's keep our fingers crossed and see how that one goes. Maybe we'll get it going, and then after that, we'll see. Finally, First Bank is reversing my money after 3 months. Okay, thank you. At least I have money to take do some data upgrade since data they misbehave. Chike Ayalogu, he said, Morning, Elegbete. Watched that interview yesterday and a very good insight into our national team and their struggles. Lord Mayor, the crazy irony of Nigerian leadership is all in all sectors. Chike Ayalogu say that was before the Guinea game. No, it was after the Guinea game, actually. It was after the Guinea game. They just go back, I think. I don't think it's before the Guinea game. I'm not sure it's before the Guinea. I don't know. I don't know the time that interview was put out, but it could be. It could be before the Guinea game, before they flew to Nigeria, or probably it's just after they went back. You know, Yemi Dynamite says something is wrong with the audio. Maybe it's just YouTube. Okay. Can you explain what you're hearing? Let me know because the audio is clear on my side. Yemi Dynamite says Arsenal for EPL, Napoli for the Italian Serie A, Paris Saint-Germain for France, Barcelona for Spain, and Benel Insurance for PFL. They go still play Super Six, so they can top the league now, do everything, and then they go and play Super Six, and they'll be wiped. Okay, so Benel Insurance are better be ready. Olushaye Good Dollar says, why I always want Osimhen to remain in Napoli because of the legendary status. Yemi Dynamite say Telemans is not needed. Declan Rice will be more useful and multifunctional for what Ateta is doing. I think Telemans is needed, and I'm going to explain that after I read all the other messages anyway. However, knowing Edu and Ateta, they have someone else up their sleeves. Okay, Oluseyi Ogundola, he said, I saw Rice in the game between England and Italy, and I believe he is a good DM. Yemi Dana might say you asked a question yesterday on pitching to Sime. I feel he should sign for Madrid or City. City is not going to sign him. I mean, City's got Julian Alvarez and they've got Erling Haaland. They're not going to sign him. That I can guarantee you. They won't sign him. Nah. City is not going to sign a striker this window as they can afford his pay expectation and they have long-term success plans. Arsenal and United will pretenders on the aspect of where their long-term vision is. And though I'm an Arsenal fan, I want to see Osimhen enjoy the spotlight for long. So it's Madrid, City, or Paris Saint-Germain. I think most likely he would go to Paris Saint-Germain and Paris Saint-Germain or Chelsea. That's what I think. This is not. He did not tell me this, so nobody say, "Oh, because I'm close to him, I know this." No, but I just think that those are the two places he will go because I think Manchester United would rather go for Harry Kane and then not bring a player that will make Rashford redundant, especially now wanting to give him such a big contract. They would like to protect him, and Osimhen might just be the player that comes in to make him sit on the bench. So that they would want to protect. Again, the reason for Harry Kane, I mean, Harry Kane does not have 10 years to play, so he's a player that could easily retire pretty soon. So that's a good one. You can't spend such huge amount of money on Osimhen, for instance, and not get him playing regularly. That become a problem. So another thing I think would happen is Paris Saint-Germain wants to lose Mbappe and probably lose Messi. They would start to rebuild, and they have the money. They can convince Osimhen and tell Osimhen we want to build a project around you. And probably I hope that Osimhen's management will say it's not just about signing a striker because you've had in the past couple of years you've had great striker. The problem is that you've not had a team behind the strikers that represent what the strikers can deliver. So you need to also have a solid defense, have a solid midfield that matches up. Because if it comes to creating goals and scoring goals, I think that Paris Saint-Germain does score and create a lot of goals. The only problem was the fact that once you breach them and you go through the midfield and the defense, it is easy for you to score against them. So that's the part that they need to fix. But then again, at Chelsea, I think that Chelsea is also on the rebuild. They might not have Champions League to play next season, but if they get a good convincer and then convince Osimhen that we will pay whatever amount of money you want, I think it could go to Chelsea. Again, Chelsea is his favorite club. It might that might just be the trick puller that might just change everything for him. That's what I think anyway. I might be wrong, but let's see how it goes. Yeah, Yami Dynamite says, okay. Oluseyi Gundala says, I think I've read that one. Okay, I've read that one as well. Yami Dynamite says, still I've read all of this ones. Oluseyi Ogundola says, I don't think Man U will really go for Osimhen. Me too. From the way they do their dealings. Me too. I don't think they will go. Just Bambo say, I don't want Osimhen in England. Nigerians have not been doing well in the EPL recently. They struggle. Yeah, because they've been going to weak club. If they go to good club, they will not struggle. So I think that if he goes to the EPL, maybe play for Chelsea, he will do well. There are not too many clubs that can sign Osimhen in the Premier League anyway. That needs a service. Man City doesn't need the service. I think that Man United will not sign him. Maybe only Chelsea will sign him. Arsenal, I also don't think that he will play well under Arteta. I'm sorry to say this. It might sound crazy, but I don't think he will play well under Arteta because Arteta's style of play requires uh, more intricate movement, ball usage and distribution, lesser fighting, lesser muscling. Osimhen is more of a muscler and a fighter than playing with intelligence. I'm not saying he's not intelligent, but I don't think it fits into the Arteta style. It would struggle, and I don't want him to go to a club after big transfer fee. He goes and struggle to be hard. Just like Pepe now, it's hard for anybody to sign him, and then you start farming him out on loan to some small club where he might not get quality service. I don't want that for Osimhen. So Arsenal is out of the conversation. And then Alafama say, came in late today. You were right about this. They have they leave too early, so they're not in the Brazilian game. It's not yet grounded before their roots, sorry, in the Brazilian game is not yet granted before they leave. The European clubs get them early because it's less costly. I agree with you. Make Rashford careful. if he come out Man United, the guy will understand that football outside EPL is different. Very few English footballers can survive outside because they are not prepared in the dressing room. Okay, and then he said, I hope Real Madrid comes for Osimhen or Chelsea. Okay, they are the only club that can pay him the same time receive the global visibility. PSG will pay him big, but will not get as much brand visibility. Well, let's see. Let's keep our fingers crossed and see. Here's a Patrick. He said, Imade will be in the transfer market next season too. All our top strikers always move. Pray he gets a good move. I also pray he does get a good move as well. And then he said, Declan Rice. Okay, that's Declan Rice should not go above 80 million based on the English price, but Declan Rice is 50 million max. Okay, I've got nothing to say. This one, I've got nothing to say. I'm just going to sit here and enjoy the talk. Additional from us, PSG should sort their defense and defensive midfield, and then the best coach, they should stop splashing money without focus. As Patrick said, the YouTube has a cracking sound, and Patrick Instagram is clean. Okay, I don't know why that is, but I think after the show we will look to sort it out and get that cracking sound sorted out. I think maybe because I'm using the console, I don't know. I'm not listening to the sound on YouTube. Probably my producer Kalajaye will tell me that one. Uh, um, Olu Oludowale David, greetings, boss. You say, don't forget about Yuri Telemans. Okay, so let me talk about Telemans. Why I think Arsenal will need a Telemans. So look at the Arsenal midfield. The youngest person in the Arsenal midfield right now is Fabio Vieira, who probably next season would have more playing time. And then you got Emilio Smith as well. So you have Shaka, Granit Shaka. You have what's his name now? Thomas Partey and Jorginho. These are old men, right? They are fading away. They are going to still be very, very integral in the team next season, but they are fading away. But then if you have a Yuri Telemans that you will get for free, who can also play the role that Granit Xhaka plays right now. Granit Xhaka does not carry much responsibility in defending, but he supports the attack. He makes it easy for Gabriel Martinelli to go front and then cut in the same way for Trossard as well. So he dashes to that wing. Telemans can cross the ball very well. He can whip in a good pass, both short one and long ones. He can also shoot from a distance. He's got almost everything that Shaka has got with a better finesse. So if you have him on your team and you're signing him for free, I don't think that's a bad one. It's got also a better technical techniques to the ball than Granit Xhaka. And if Arsenal can manage Granit Xhaka and get the best out of him, I think Arteta can also do the same thing for Yuri Telemans and get the best out of him. So in the long run, what I am saying is that if, for instance, Yuri Telemans is a 50, 60, 70, 80 million player, I'll say Arsenal should forget about him. But the guy is free. Who throws away free? If you give me a broken down Ferrari right now, I will buy it. I would take it. You know why? If you give me a broken down Ferrari for free, I will take it because even the parts will produce money for me eventually. And that's exactly what your retirement is. Is a Ferrari probably broken down because of the many years of Leicester struggling. But I think if he finds himself in a team like Arsenal, he definitely will add value. I think because of his range of passing and the fact that the players up front at Arsenal, they are faster, they can run. You put him in that team, he can stretch the pass, he can also wriggle his way out of tight spaces and, play in the ball through the eye of the needle for either Martinelli, Trossard, Gabriel Jesus, Bukayo Saka, to find space and then reduce the burden of creativity on, what's it called? Martin Odegaard. So I think that for that is got used. And then again, if you bring in Declan Rice and you get him for free, and if you want to play two pivots at the back of Declan Rice and probably Thomas Partey, which I don't think what's it called will play, Arteta will play because Arteta's game is predicated on playing forward and attacking. But if you want to play that probably in the European game, you go to play Euro. Declan Rice and Thomas Partey will be there. Then you could also bring in a Tillemans in the second half for either Declan Rice or Thomas Partey, and you will still not lose your shape or your stability. I think it's a value player if Arsenal goes for him. He's a value player. He's a player that adds value to the team. I would go for him anyway. I don't know, but let's see how it goes. What's it called? Eze Patrick is saying, and boss, why do you think Obioma did not get a move after last season. Sadly, his game has not been so sharp this season. Well, Obiama is still the top goal scorer, so I wouldn't say his game has not been so sharp. The thing about getting a move is, first off, the agent that you have, and then the fee that your club is demanding for, and a whole lot is involved, especially when you're playing a league that is not superly televised. Like every of your game is not on TV, so it goes down to word of mouth. People go to say the player is good, or he has done this. So, but if you have like every game is televised and you can bring clips, then you have the bargaining power. You have the ability to say this is what we want for this player. But when your player, maybe in the whole season you have only 3 video clips from 18, or okay, let's say last season from 38 games, what do you expect? It's going to be difficult to sell because Europeans don't want to buy a player from word of mouth. Somebody say, which one be word of mouth? Word of mouth does not work anymore. If you like, maybe they go Pastor or Researcher for church, Word of Life Bible Church. Nobody's interested in your word of mouth anymore. People want clip. Give us a clip. Let's send it to our analytics teams. Let them analyze the player and give us their own feedback, their own report is stronger than your word of mouth. Yes, Saponic say, Elegbate, I have malaria since Guinea-Bissau. Do us biza. Okay, sorry about that one. I even still take drip and injection yesterday. This your malaria strong. Oh. DB Johnson, he said, Arsenal are winning the league. Guru, nothing is stopping them. They are going to beat those other teams comfortably. Well, let's hope and see. I wish them the best. Stepanik said, please, Elegbate, where can I buy Sporting Lagos jersey in this Lagos? You have to go. I think I'll speak with Bamiji and I'll get back to you. Probably if you ask me in the evening or tomorrow, I should be able to give you a clear answer on that one. Okay, Extrovert Mende. He said if Arsenal remain top of the table after the game against Manchester City and Liverpool, then it's done and dusted. Obviously, it's done and dusted if they remain top by the end of April. How many games will remain in June? Oh, John Ogu was here. So no wonder somebody was shouting John Ogu, Ogulogu, Baba. So I didn't understand what he was shouting. Sir John Ogu, I've joined the live. I didn't know. I didn't see him. Ogu, now. My guy. And we should that one again. Sister Nelly say just one season and they'll be back. That's Chelsea. Talking about Chelsea coming back to the Premier League. Fasha Koseus, Liverpool signing. There's no story on that one. Baba G619. Say, bros, how many players and who do you think Arsenal need to add to the squad? I think Arsenal, if they can add 4 players, is good. It's not really a big need. 2 players will be fine. But if you add 4, I think Arsenal will sell some players. I also think it is time to let Reece Nelson go. It's crazy that I'm saying this, but I think it's time to let him go because he doesn't look like a player who can be consistent with the kind of performance he puts up against Bournemouth. Okay, so you better let him go and go to clubs where the expectations are not too high, and he can be fine there. Okay, Fachako said, nice one. Liverpool is a musical band. Sorry, but sorry. I like I like the reaction to that feeling to that thing that the way he reacted to it. Well, bros, could and verse. It's one of those things that happens. Okay, just bear with us. Step Monique, he said the Brazil players also get distracted by Europe's babes when they go to Europe. Nah, Brazil, women fine girls not the Europe now. Have you been to Brazil? if not babe, now Brazil they. Right, Europe not get babe. Stepanik, they laugh. He said, Uzor that they have soak his glove inside palm oil. Jesus Christ. How is that connected first? How is that even connected? Olaoluwa Bamidele. He said, I enjoyed your discussion yesterday. It was informative, especially your breakdown of Denmark 92 Euro Championship, as well as your participation in our league. Well done, sir. Thank you very much for that. And it's on that note that we'll come to the end of the show today. We've done the bits that we're supposed to do. It's time to pack our bags and baggages and go. It is exactly 58 minutes and 42 seconds on the clock. So the show's come to an end. Let's go fix whatever internet problem we're having and whatever audio problem that the listeners seem to be having. And then maybe when we come back in the evening, the show will be better. Thank you very much for your time. God bless you and have for yourself a wonderful day. My name is Edafe Matthew. So you love to come in on the spot. I've had a good time on the show today. I hope you also have had a good time. Let's do it again in the evening. I see you, Michael Akande, Alex, my guy. I see you there, and Loa Tayo. Akande, Michael, Alex. Okay, see, there's Michael in your name, right? I don't know what the Michael is doing there, or probably I'm missing two things together. Well, that's the way it is. And then as a Patrick said, please, Madrid should leave our Bellingham for us. So we need that guy at all costs. So let me just before I go, as a Patrick. So hypothetically, Liverpool does not make the Champions League, right? You're saying that Jude Bellingham should go and sign for Liverpool, that you're not sure they will make the Champions League again in the next 2 or 3 seasons, and go away from Madrid, that not only will they play in the Champions League regularly, they have a very high chance of winning it pretty soon. If he's your brother, be honest with me. Jude Bellingham is your brother. Where would you advise him to go? To go and play for Liverpool, that are playing like Bala Blue right now, that play like a bad boy band, or to go and play for Real Madrid? Well, Liverpool have a chance this weekend to prove that they are not a bad boy band, and prove that they are really the real deal, and audition themselves before Jude Bellingham and say, this is why you should sign for us. Well, that's all I've got on the show today. Bye bye, and have a great day ahead of you.